I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. This is my weekly craft along video. It's pre-recorded, but I talk to you as though you're in the room with me because that's just me. I love to share ideas with you and inspiration for your paper crafting projects. And I try and keep my videos fairly short and just get on with the creating. So with that in mind, what are we going to do today? As a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I use mainly Stampin' Up products. I've got a few other favourites, but mainly Stampin' Up, just because they've got so many ideas. Just their annual catalogue is bursting. Look, even on this page, there's 1, 2, 3, 5 ideas just with that one set, and there's even more throughout the catalogue. This is a bit of a wow. I'm not sure what I think is the wow. I think it's because it's blue and white. I'm a blue girl. Well, blue and green, they're my sort of favourite colours. I really love the blue and white china that you get for your kitchen. I don't know what it is, but I really like this. So we're going to make something with this. I've had it a little while now and not really played too much. So in my VIP group for customers on my Facebook page, we've got a challenge going on that's all about the blues. So I'm sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, like you do. So we're going to use their beautiful papers, which I'm going to show you. We may or may not stamp. I'm not quite decided. I'll show you the stamps that I've used already. We are definitely going to use the dies. I'm not sure if can you see that. They're layered dies. Actually, in the flesh, they look like this. Pretty unassuming, but when you team them with the stamp, you get a real wow. If you just use the dies on your own, you can do all sorts of projects layering them up. The only other thing I think that I'm going to show you is one of the punches. It has been around for, well, last catalogue I think, but it's really, really useful. It punches out those 2 shapes, but you can chop into them and do what you want. So I want you to get the most out of your stash. So I will show you a few ways with those if I remember. So the makes, it's called a pop and flip card. So it's not a new design. I haven't really played around with it too much, but it's like this. So it looks like that on the front, but when you open it up, it pops up. So it's got like a little mechanism there that just gives it a 3D effect. And as long as you layer all your embellishments on here, you're fine. If you overhang them, it's going to get caught. So that's exactly what we're going to make today, but I'm just going to show you another one that I've just made a little bit more wow. I've made it into a shaker card, okay, and I've turned the orientation round, and I have embellished, but I've been careful to avoid this piece here, the pop bit. So she says, and then it gets caught. So that's like that. Okay, can you see? So it's same effect, it's just a little bit more special because it's got the extra shaker bit on the front, and that's really easy for you to do. We're not going to make that today, but basically you make it exactly the same and you just put this added bit on here. And Stampin' Up have got those sticky strips that are long rather than the little dimensionals, and you can just use them to make your frame and a bit of acetate and some pretty sparkly bits. So that's that one. So yeah, 2 different cards, same design that we're doing, a pop and flip card. So these are the sizes. Now I think I need a pat on the back because I have put them in centimetres as well as inches. So loads of people asking me for centimetres, and I was getting really quite, oh, do I do centimetres, do I do inches? So I've done both. Okay, so you need a base card. It's a basic card size in the UK. You score it in the middle, fold it over, and you've got your base. then you layer with some DSP just on the front, and then we've got the mechanism bit. So hopefully not too long a video for you today, and you can go away, get creating and turn it into your own beautiful make. So let's get crafting. So I've got my paper trimmer. Stampin' Up is absolutely perfect because not only has it got a cutter, it's got a scorer as well. So I don't have to mess about with two different machines. Now I said we were looking at the blues. If I get you back to the catalogue, so what page was it? 63, I think. It tells you along the bottom here what colours are in the paper, which is amazing because you know that if you choose one of those colours, it's going to exactly coordinate. So this time I am going to be using Misty Moonlight, and that's like, it's a bit like a denim colour. Hopefully you can see that. So long side at the top of your trimmer where you're going to do your cutting. So I know some people do it the other way around, but hopefully you can see I've got the arm that comes out on this side like so, and I'm going to use this line at the top here as my guide. So this needs to be cut at 5 7/8. So put the long side along the top and find 5 7/8, which in centimetres is 14.9 centimetres. And you're just going to cut that off. Effectively, what that does is cuts your A4 sheet into half. Okay, so 2 pieces. You can make 2 cards with one. Okay, and then you're going to turn it sideways, and it should be 8 2/8. So I'm just going to double check, which is 21 centimetres. So yep, perfect. And then with the longest bit at the top, I'm actually going to score it at 4 1/8. Now 4 1/8 is 10.5 centimetres. So make sure your cutting blade is out of the way, and we're going to score it. So 4 1/8 or 10.5, and that makes your card base. Okay, so 1 card base, and I'm going to use it that way round. So I'm going to do my paper next, my designer series paper, but I'm going to make sure that it's that way round. So let's choose some designer series paper. Okay. So there's a few different choices, all different blues, double-sided as always with Stampin' Up, and I want one that's going to go with my Misty Moonlight. So let's have a look. I mean, they're all really going to go, but I want one that really matches. Actually, I think that might. Oh yeah, let's do that one. So that was fairly simple for me, goodness me. Now remember, I need to make sure that it's the right orientation because this isn't an any way up paper. It has got a direction on it. So I need to make sure that this is 4 inches that way, because I'm just doing it ever so slightly smaller, just 1/8 of an inch. So 4 inches, which is 10.2 centimetres, by 5 6/8, which is 14.6. So 5 6/8, which is also 5 3/4. Oh, all these measurements, I've got a headache. Okay, so I've made sure that the longest bit is at the top and the side. So let's have a look, see what that looks like on. So bring my card back in, turn it sideways. That's going to go on there, like so. Is that the right size? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that. Now there's a little tip here. What you're going to do in a moment, let me just turn it back over. You are going to die cut from this piece here. So if you want this as your backing paper, so on this one, it's as a backing paper on here, just glue the whole thing. If you don't want it as a backing paper and you just want to see the coloured card, don't put any glue in the middle of your paper. So let me show you what that means in practice. So if I want just card as my centre, oh, I can't really see whether it's coming out. I would just put glue all around the edge like that and then stick it on. Now, because I don't mind if there's backing paper on my centre bit, I'm putting glue over the whole thing. So what happens now, make sure that's the right way around. Yep, for a moment it looked upside down. Just going to go quiet while I concentrate. We were talking about this at craft group. Everybody's like chatter, chatter, chatter. We're all getting just full of conversations about life and the everyday goings on. And then as soon as you start crafting, it goes deadly quiet because everyone's concentrating so much. So that's the front of my card with the designer series paper. Now what I need to do is cut out this piece, okay? So this piece here, so that is the next size up from that. Where have I put that? Oh, there. That. So it is, let me bring that back in, it's the third size. So what I'm going to do is run this through my cut and emboss machine, open it out so you're only cutting out the front piece. Sort of put it in the central, it's up to you how far you put it. You need a bit of a gap for the mechanism that's going to fold, so you can eyeball it or you can do it just from measurements. It's entirely up to you. So what you end up with is that panel has come out, okay? Now remember I said about the glue, because I put glue over the whole of my paper, that's stuck down. But if you hadn't put glue, if you just put glue around your edge, you would be able to peel that off and then you just have that. Okay, so that is my panel for the front piece there. So now what I'm going to do is put some card on the inside. So I'm going to put some white, just basic white card. That's just going to go inside for my personal message to go on. And I've cut that at 3 7/8 by 5 1/2. Now I haven't got that in centimetres. Can I work that out for you? 3 7/8 is 9.9. 3 7/8, 9.8. Okay, sticking glue. Stick this on before it dries. So that's just going to go on there. And 5 1/2 would be 14 centimetres. Okay, so that's going to open out. I actually think I'd quite like a piece of the paper along the bottom just to finish it off. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a thin slice that's 3/4 of an inch, which is 2 centimetres. It's going to go along there, and it's 5 1/2. Gone quiet again. This was supposed to be a quick make. pop a bit of glue on there just because I think it will just add to it when you open the card. So it's going to go just along the bottom there. Okay, now the mechanism, how do we do that? So you need a little panel that's going to go here. Now this needs to be 2.5 by 4. So, oh handy, that's 4 by 2.5. 2.5 by 4, which is 6.3 centimetres by 10.2, and then I need to score it at every inch on the longer side. So every inch is roughly 2.5 centimetres, every 2.5 centimetres, because what you need is a piece of card that is folded in 4, so it makes a square like so. Okay, we're going to cut the other bit while we're here as well. So that needs to be a tiny piece, so it needs to be 3/4, which you could do 2 centimetres for that. 3/4, and it needs to be by 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Oh, 1 3/4. And then you need to score that at 1 inch. Hang on, let me give you those sizes again. Okay, so this piece, hang on, let's get this out of the way. This mechanism needs to be 2.5, so 2.5 along this way, or 6.3 centimetres by 4, which is 10.2, and then you need to score it at every inch or every 2.5 centimetres, and that will make that. Then this piece needs to be 3/4, which is 1.9 centimetres by 2 inches, which I don't know if I've done that right. 3/4 by 1 3/4. And that needs to be scored at 1. So you've got one side that's slightly longer, but it's going to give you that. Okay, now fold this in half, and on one tab here, put some glue. And then what you're aiming to do is you're going to place it on this fold with the glue side down. So you're putting it on the fold, but you're also trying to make sure that it's in the middle of this. So about there. Okay, so when you're happy, press it down. And then on this tab here, put some glue on that piece. And then bring that over. And that piece is on there. Okay, and that gives you that. Ta-da! Okay, don't worry that it overhangs, you're not going to notice that in a minute. Then the piece that's that's 1 inch, so the bigger side, put some glue on there. Okay, just on one side, and you're aiming to get that in the middle so that you end up with that. Okay, so just like that. Ta-da! And then you can start putting your panel in place. So this is going to go here, but I want to layer it up and make it look a bit special. So I've already die cut the next 2 sizes out. I've die cut in the same card as the back, so Misty Moonlight. Smooth that out the way a minute. That's going to go on there. And then I've die cut the next size, which is white, and that's going to go on there. And that's just going to really make sure that my centerpiece stands out. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this Misty Moonlight piece on. That's going to go on there. And then my white piece I'm going to stamp first. Now I really like this stamp set, the Pansy Patch. Obviously in the Countryside Corners there isn't any sentiments, so you can just use any that you've got in your stash, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday because that's one of my favourite ones. And I'm going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight, but I'm actually going to use my Stampin' Right marker and just colour with the fat end across my word, so you can see it's all highlighted. Put that in the middle, done, and that is just going to go on there. Now what I might do is actually put that on some dimensionals so it raises up a bit. And that will also give me somewhere to tuck one of my leaves behind, or something that I'm going to do. Let's have a look. So that's going to go on there, like so. And then if I bring my card back in, fold that piece down, put some glue on here, just on that flappy bit, and then just match this back in to where it should be. Okay, just like that. And now what happens is it stands up when you open the card up. Lovely. Right, what did I use my bows for? So I used this one. I'm just using this side here, and I'm going to pick out some colour from the background to do the same. So Misty Moonlight, let's see what sort of branch I can get from that. That's not very big. Hang on, let's see. There's one branch, I'll just trim that off. So I've got one branch there. Now if I put that on there, is it going to overhang? No, that's fine, but it does get in the way there. So what I'm going to do is trim that leaf off just along the branch so it still looks like a nice branch, and that will fit on there that way. But I'm not going to throw the other leaf away, I'm going to use that in a minute. So I can put that just so that it just goes past the Happy Birthday. Okay, and this leaf I can just add on to here, and that will come out the bottom, like so. It doesn't look that great at the minute, but a flower will hide that. So then I've got this old flower punch, and some of this boho blue colour, which is actually the same colour as those. So let's punch a couple of those out. Okay. And I've got this old Stampin' Up pen actually. What I tend to do, I usually do it on a mouse mat, but I've left it in the other room, so I'm going to put it in my hand, and there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you press on this end with no pen nib out and just press it into the palm of your hand, it gives you that. So it puts like a circle imprint in the middle of your flower. Hopefully you can see that. But it also shapes the leaves. So just with one press of the pen, it gives you a flower shape. Now if you don't want it like that and you use the other end, so if you've got an embossing tool with a big ball on the end, just rub that into the centre of your hand or on a mouse mat, because it's probably better, and it just shapes it round like that. So if you want something sharper, use the pen end. If you want something flatter but still curved, use the ball end. Now I really like this end because what it allows me to do is get the Stampin' Right marker. If I fold it back out, I can see exactly where the middle is, and if I just dot it in the middle, it just looks like the stamens on the flower without any extra effort at all. Okay, so I just fold it back up, put a dab of glue on the back, or a dimensional or a glue dot. I'm just going to cover that rather horrid little join that I did in the leaves. I'm just going to use that, hold it in place. There you go, there's a leaf. Let's do another one. So I liked it with that pen end thingy, so put that in there, open it out, do the little dots just on the centre circle bit, fold it back up, double glue, and then decide where I want it. There. And I'm just going to hold it in place a minute. Look at that. Okay, I think we're nearly there. Now, you should have 3 flowers, shouldn't you? I'm just going to reshape that because I want it to look the same. Or embellishments need to be 3s or 5s. That's a crafty rule. Did you know that? Okay, so there's that one. I think I might do another leaf as well, but you don't want to watch me do that. So I'm just going to put that there just to balance the card, and I think we might be there. Ta-da! Right, let's move all of this stuff out of the way. So there's our card from today, a pop and flip card, just like that. So there's the one from today, there's the one that was the sprinkler, and there's the one that I made earlier. So 3 different cards, 3 different styles, but all very beautiful. Go give it a go. Thanks for watching. If you've liked my video and you'd like to see some more, please subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.